My dear beloved people of God, we are on the 25th ordinary Sunday of year B. Last Sunday, we heard Jesus speaking about his impending suffering, death and resurrection. He does it this Sunday too. We shall see what is the reaction of his disciples and the teaching that follows. Coming to the first reading. The first reading is taken from the book of wisdom, the wisdom of Solomon, and it presents to us the conspiracy of some ungodly men against a righteous man. The church fathers, Justin the martyr, Eusebius, Clement of Alexandria, and even St. Augustine take this text as referring to Christ. Some of them hold that some parts of this book clearly prophesy the passion of Christ. In verse 20, the slayers of the righteous man are heard saying, "Let us condemn him to a shameful death." Now, this reference to a shameful death is a direct allusion to the death on the cross. The God's anointed Messiah must suffer and be put to death. This is what Jesus was trying to tell his disciples as they passed through Galilee. This is the second of three predictions that we find in the Gospel according to Saint Mark. Last Sunday, when Jesus spoke about his sufferings, death and resurrection for the first time, Simon Peter rebuked Jesus because Simon Peter could not think of God's anointed to be the suffering servant. This time, there is no rebuke, but there is a misunderstanding on the part of the disciples. In the Gospel of Mark, there is a development of this theme of misunderstanding of the disciples. The controversy among the disciples, as we find in today's Gospel passage, regarding who is the greatest or who would be the greatest in the kingdom of Jesus, is yet another instance of the theme of misunderstanding. St. Mark in his Gospel portrays the disciples of Jesus as slow to understand the person of Jesus and his mission. Their idea of the Messiah was completely different as that of Jesus. So the reaction of the disciples of Jesus as he predicted his passion for the second time is that of silence, because they were either afraid to ask Jesus regarding this matter, or simply they were not interested in the topic of suffering. Just as they do not wish to hear about the sufferings of the Son of Man, and they themselves do not want to suffer, so here now they speak about being great, and not just that, being greater than the other, which is against the teaching of Jesus of self-denying. Also, it's against the virtue of humility. And therefore Jesus said, if anyone would be first, he must be the last of all and the servant of all. And then taking a child in his arms, he said, whoever receives this child receives me, and whoever receives me receives the one who sent me. In the Jewish culture at this period, protos, meaning first, meant the rulers, aristocrats, the ruling priests, and other persons of authority and influence. Thus to be eschatos, meaning last, and diakonos, meaning servant, meant to be someone with no rank, no authority, no privilege, a status that humans ordinarily did not desire. What about you, my people of God? Do you desire to be in power, in authority, in position? Or do you wish to work under someone else's authority? Don't you want to be an influential person in the society? Is it bad to have authority and power? Do we need a title to lead others? Not necessarily. But what is Jesus trying to say here? Jesus is trying to clear the intentions of his disciples, that they are not to aspire to be great, to be people of authority in the worldly sense. Surely Jesus knew that in his kingdom, in the kingdom of God that he was now spreading, they would be first and people of influence and perhaps people of authority. And so Jesus tells them, what kind of leaders are they going to be? are they meant to be? And so Jesus is trying to teach them the true meaning of leadership in His kingdom. The leadership in His kingdom is called servant leadership. Every one of them would have some responsibility, some authority in His kingdom, but that was meant not to dominate, not to subdue others, but to serve wholeheartedly. In this world, all of us aspire to be great, to be first, to shine in this world. Jesus is not against this desire of ours. Jesus wants us to shine in this world, to be leaders, and also to lead others without a title. But if at all we have power, we have some title, if we have rank, it is meant to be used for service. Very often, many of us aspire to be in position of power only to dominate, for self-glorification, for popularity, and even to subdue others, to humiliate others, being proud and arrogant. Jesus is against this kind of idea of authority. And therefore He says, whoever wants to be first must be the last and the servant of all. That means service towards the least powerful and least influential, like the children. My dear people of God, as we aspire to be great, to be first in the kingdom of God, let's be ready to serve humbly and wholeheartedly. God bless all of you.